Should you be cheap with your money or generous? Should you buy what you want? Well, you might be looking at a new purse, a new car, a new pair of shoes, or you want to move into a bigger house, spend more rent, and be a little bit more generous with yourself. And everyone is telling you not to do that. Well, today I want to tell you that being cheap is the opposite of what you need to do. And the reason you are cheap is because you don't realize you have a fear of failure. And this is something 99.9% of people have. The fear of failing, the fear that things are going to work out. And I remember, myself included, I used to be scared to buy things I wanted. I used to be scared to eat at nice restaurants. The fear was so strong, as a matter of fact, that I would go to Chipotle, where it would cost me at most $15 to eat lunch. $15, nothing. And I wouldn't get extra guacamole or extra chicken because it would be an extra $2 or $3 or $4. I mean, even if I were to save those $4 every day for a year, it would amount to nothing. Literally wouldn't be more than $1,300. It doesn't even make sense to save a penny here or a penny there. It doesn't make sense to contract rather than expand. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Our system, our culture, your belief system, it's broken. It's broken because you have been primed for failure. You have been primed to fear success. Here's the problem with anything you fear, anything you love. Anything you focus on is what you get. So if I focus on what I'm scared of, I attract that into my life. I attract fear into my life. If I focus on what I love or admire, I'm going to attract that into my life. So most people focus on, hey, what happens if there's a rainy day? Save up for a rainy day. And then there always happens to be a rainy day. You see, the reason the stock market is predictable, the reason anything tends to be predictable, is because human beings have patterns, right? There's something called the greed and fear index, right? When the greed index is the highest, you want to sell your stocks or your crypto or anything you have, because that is when everything's most likely, usually, about to crash. Now, the reason this happens and the reason we can predict that is because human beings have patterns. And the fear of failure is a very common pattern. So what is a pattern? Well, a pattern is a way of focus, right? I call it a pattern of focus. It's what you focus on. And what you focus on is what you go for. It's what you get. It's what you put your attention and energy to. Where your energy flows, right? Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if I am focused on my fear, oh my God, we're about to enter a recession, I'm not going to be resourceful. I'm going to enter a very collapsing state. Now, all the things I did that made me successful change. Instead of me being resourceful, finding a way no matter what, I start to put money aside. I start to save. I start to say no to all these opportunities. Hey, look, that's a great deal I would normally go for, but because we might get into a recession now, I'm not going to take advantage of that opportunity. And all of a sudden, I change complete course. Instead of doing all the things that continue to expand my wealth, I do the opposite, and I start to contract my wealth into the point where I fail. And I always tell people, if you have a fear of failure, you're most likely failing, right? So it doesn't make sense to have a fear of failure because you haven't gotten to where you want to go. It's almost as if people are more scared of accomplishing something and then losing it than they are of actually just staying the same. And this is confusing to most people because they don't see it this way. They just see it as, oh, I'm safe, I'm secure. I called someone who used to work for me the other day. And I said, hey, why don't you come work for me again? I'll give you a bigger salary. And she's like, no, I love my current job. And don't get me wrong, I really love working for you. I just don't know. I want to have my Medicare or whatever, like health insurance covered, my taxes. I don't know how to deal with that. And I said, okay, well, I'll deal with it for you. No problem. Like, I love your talent. I think you're super talented. Come work for me. I'll take care of that and I'll give you more money than you're making now. And she goes, I don't know. I need stability. Well, my company is stable, right? My expenses are very high and we make them every month and we're growing every month. We're actually growing like this. So to say that obviously comes from a fear of failure. There's a growth barrier, success barrier. And how do you overcome this? And that's what I want to talk about today. Well, in order to overcome it, you have to realize what the cause is, right? I could give you medicine to get over your flu, but if you go in contact with everyone else and all of a sudden you get the flu again, how is that going to help you? So I need to make sure that you not only fix the problem, but you prevent it from happening again. The ultimate cure to any problem is prevention. So I'm going to teach you how to prevent this fear once you overcome it. So what is the fear? Well, the fear of failure is just you believe you're going to fail more than you believe you're going to succeed. And when you fail, what does that mean? It means you're not going to have some kind of security. It means you're not going to have the things you want in your life. That is what the fear of failure is. It's what will happen if I'm judged by the people around me. What if everyone was right that I will never amount to anything? What if I could just never do the things I set out to do? That is what the fear of failure is. So how do you overcome it? Well, it's very simple. Instead of believing, because this is the key word, belief, instead of believing that I'm going to fail, I believe that I'm going to get everything I wanted. If you knew for a fact you would get everything you ever wanted and more, would you stop to go get it? Of course not. I always give this example. It's a typical example. If you've been on my channel, you've heard it before. If I give you a winning lottery ticket, what are you willing to do to go cash it in? Anything. But if you knew it was the losing ticket, you would not even waste your time with it. This is the problem. You have a winning lottery ticket for success. The question is, are you willing to put in the work to cash it in? Are you willing to go as far as it takes to cash in the lottery ticket? The reward is there, but are you willing to put in the work? And most people are not. And the reason they're not is because they are scared. And there's a million things you could be primed to focus on. You could focus on everyone else judging you, on your family not loving you, on how people will view you as greedy or horrible, or how you're, it just makes no sense. And I have people who are literally multi-millionaires, decamillionaires. That means they have tens of millions of dollars in their account and net worth. And they are still scared of going to the next level. This is a problem that continues to persist, which is why I want to give you preventative methods to make sure this doesn't happen. So when you have nothing to lose, people are motivated. Oh, I'm super broke, I'm homeless, I need to go all in. Well, you have nothing to lose. As a matter of fact, you have to do it for your very survival. Then you get comfortable. You have $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in your account and your bills are pretty low. Well, now you chill and then it gets lower, lower, lower. You feel like you failed, you've lost it all. And then you try to build it up again. Then you build it up, you get to $1 million, 10 million, you keep going to the next level. But there's this pattern of up and down. Well, why does there have to be a pattern? There's a pattern because you have a fear of failure. You have a fear of going to the next level, so the brain actually sabotages it and brings you back down to this level. You might have heard this example. It's like a thermostat. There's an average thermostat in everybody's mind. So if the thermostat gets too hot, let's say it's at 75 degrees, 1 month you go to 85 degrees. So you have the best month ever, you're making a bunch of money. Well, then all of a sudden your brain goes, oh, that was too hot, let's cool it off. So you go to 60. You don't even work that month, all of a sudden your bank account averages out and you're averaging out to a much lower amount because your brain went, we did too much, we made too much progress, we have to chill. Instead of letting your foot off the gas when you're about to succeed, that's when you're supposed to double down. But the fear of failure does the complete opposite. When you have a fear of failure, instead of doubling down when you are in momentum, you let off. You see, the number one thing I find in the most successful people on the planet is that they don't let off the gas. As a matter of fact, they keep gaining speed. That is the key. Most people stop gaining speed or they start to cruise and they chill. Now, if you're not growing, you're dying because your money is always devalued. Inflation happens. Problems happen. Lawsuits happen. The more time you're in business, the more problems will arise. That's just how it works. Now, you might optimize things, you might streamline things, but there's bound to be problems that come around. So as things go on, let's just give you a simple example. You're running ads. Ads will eventually get more expensive. Everything will eventually be more expensive. There's external factors. All of a sudden, you're getting supplies from China, getting supplies from Europe, and they shut down the whole world. Now your supply is 10 times more expensive. If your business wasn't growing, this has a massive impact on you. Most people are like, things are so good now, I'm going to get comfortable, and that is when they get screwed. Innovation is key. It's either you're growing or you're dying. And that completely depends on your focus. If I know for a fact things are going to work out, I guarantee you I will continue to double down. I'll continue to work. I will keep in momentum. People gain comfort. And you might have had this where you gained some success and you chilled out because deep down you have a fear of success. And that fear of success makes your brain rationalize why you should stop working, why you should just chill, so then it can recreate the very fear that you're scared of. Fear creates fear. If you're scared of failing, which also means you're scared of succeeding, you will fail, period. If I'm scared of rejection, how am I going to approach a meeting or a person I want to ask out on a date? Completely no confidence. No one will want to work with me because they sense the fear. Fear is weakness. Fear that is not addressed is a sickness. It is a virus. As a matter of fact, this is what the whole world uses to control you. And if you don't control your fear, I promise you, everything around you will control you. So here's 2 steps that I can take for you, or you could do it for yourself. I do this for myself, that will immediately eradicate this fear. First of all, write down all the things you believe are going to happen if you succeed. Or things that you believe that are bad. Like, I believe there's going to be a recession and it's going to hurt me. I believe no one's going to want to work with me. I believe I can't get clients easily. I believe it takes a long time to succeed. I believe no one's willing to pay me. I don't have the knowledge, the experience. Whatever limiting beliefs you have, write them down and read them. And then write down next to them the opposite beliefs. And just start reading the opposites. So for instance, if I say, I believe no one wants to work with me, I say, I know everybody wants to work with me. Instead of saying, I don't think I'm worth it or I don't know enough, I am the best in my field. I'm the #1 expert in my field. You write all these empowering beliefs down. And what you're doing is you're training your focus. Instead of focusing on the wrong thing, you're starting to focus on the right things. And the second step is to implement this into action, right? So if I have a belief that says, I believe no one's willing to work with me, or I don't deserve a lot of money. Well, if that's my belief, what is the action that follows? Well, I'm not going to ask for the money, or I'm not going to go for the sale, or I'm not going to try. Versus, I know I'm worth a lot of money, I'm the best, people will line up out the door to work with me. Well, all of a sudden, now I'm excited. I'm going to go hop on calls. I'm going to ask for a lot of money. I'm going to get what I deserve, right? So the beliefs are the prequel to the action, right? It's what you do right before you act. And the reason people have a hard time acting is because they're focused on all the things that will go wrong than all the things that will go right. The only difference between you and someone who is very successful, the version of you that you want to be, is the beliefs that you carry and what you're literally primed to focus on. So every day, I want you to start empowering yourself, start going down the positive list, and eventually you just erase the negative ones, write down all of them. Once you're familiar with them, that's it. You don't need them. You just write the opposite, the new empowering beliefs, and start to say, and make sure you use the beliefs like this, not I will be. That's a disassociative belief. I will be means you're not there. Just say, I am the best. I am charging this much. I am whatever it is you want. I'm attractive. I'm loved. I'm successful. I'm rich. I'm wealthy. God gives me an infinite amount of abundance. Whatever you believe will help you. Write that down. And that is how you overcome your fear of success. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be dropping a bunch of new content that is going to transform your life. This is information I teach my one-on-one clients who I charge $1 million a year to work with, period. And you're getting it for free. All you have to do is subscribe, show up, take notes, and implement what I tell you, and watch your life transform overnight. I'll see you next time.